organized, funded protests where someone is spending a lot of money and they're mobilizing other NGOs. They're using their access to these mailing lists and all these different things. They're putting these things together.
Yeah, but...
Yeah! That's how a fucking protest works. That's how it works.
You're muted.
God damn it, muted for a rant. Oh. I don't get it. What the fuck is he talking about? Just to show how far gone Joe Rogan is. This was Joe Rogan with Brett Weinstein. I don't know how to explain this level of anti-reality.
My doctor that I know out here won a case, but they were about to lose their license.
Yeah.
And just for prescribing ivermectin.
No, that should be your first question, Doc, is how did you do over COVID?
Yeah.
And if they have nothing interesting to say, I would just turn around and walk out the door.
Cody, I would follow John Mark Wayne Mullins, or McMullins, whatever his name is. He's the best stock trader right now in Congress, Republican Mark Wayne Mullins.
Yeah, imagine going to a doctor right now and they're telling you should get your COVID shots. You should stay up to date. Imagine.
Well, I find...
Yeah, imagine. Imagine going to a doctor and the doctor says you should be up to date on your COVID shots. Whew, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? It's how far gone they are. They think that, like, if a doctor says you should be vaccinated, that is a radical doctor. That means they've insulated themselves to the point that, like, data isn't getting through anymore. There's just this wall, and they're like, no data, no data, no data. Every doctor should be telling you to get your COVID vaccine if it's based on the data. And if your doctor's telling you not to get the COVID vaccine, that doctor should say, hey, I understand that what I'm saying goes against like the entirety of the data, but I have a hunch. And then if you don't want to get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't care. But it's crazy that they think that in 2025, if your doctor is saying get vaccinated, that your doctor is a psycho.
Find that bad, but at least I know how to interpret that. What I don't understand is what I'm supposed to do with the doctor who did recommend the shots, has stopped recommending them, and has not
talked about
said something about the change in their perspective.
Right. I would guess that doctor, let me explain this to you, Brett Weinstein and Joe Rogan, because you don't ever talk to anybody outside of your circle and you live in a fucking bubble. But let me explain how this works. If you have a doctor who early on said you should be vaccinated when you came in and visited them, and now they're not saying you should be vaccinated, but they're not saying anything. They're also not saying, holy shit, you shouldn't have been vaccinated. What you have there is a doctor who understands the science and understands the people that come to see him. And they already know that if they tell you to be vaccinated, you're not coming back. Or you're going to argue with them. And they don't see a point because they're going to try and treat you for other things. And they got to have a living. I might agree with Weinstein here. Like I question the motives of that doctor, but for an entirely different reason. I question the motives of that doctor because that doctor has decided not to tell you what's best for you because of your political beliefs. Now, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a problem with that with social media influencers too.
100%.
People that were pushing it and then have not publicly corrected course, have not said I was wrong and this is why I was wrong. Like, I can't fuck with you.
I wonder if Joe Rogan's ever going to come out and cite the myriad of double-blind studies on ivermectin and the conclusions that it provides no benefit to people with COVID-19. I wonder if he's just a social media guy. In his stand-up special, he talks about how he's like the misinformation king. He tells people like, you shouldn't listen to me. And yet he brings on another non-expert here in Brett Weinstein. He's never once brought on a virologist. Never once brought on a virologist. Not once. The actual experts, he will not bring them on. But these people in like ancillary positions, like that are kind of like around the experts in some way. I think Brett Weinstein's like a biologist or something, maybe a microbiologist. He'll bring those people on. It's crazy. We're still doing anti-COVID vax shit. And the most popular podcaster in America is an anti-vaxxer. Crazy.
You anymore. If you can't say that you were wrong about that, then I just can't.
Yeah, and he doesn't. He proves it. If people won't say that they're wrong about something that they're right about, Joe Rogan doesn't bring them on his show anymore. He's just done with that. I can't talk to anybody who doesn't agree with me anymore. That's who he's become. I saw that his ratings were slipping a little bit. I hope that continues. I don't think people should listen to Joe Rogan. Text, listen, you can stay if you stop hijacking. If you just stay and learn and you stop arguing with people in the chat, you can stay, but that's your only option. All right, and I'm saying that because we're going to talk about Joe Rogan right now, and all your knee-jerk reactions are about to come up. This is Joe Rogan with, her name is Bridget Fetisi. I think she's some sort of content creator. Joe Rogan is broken, and I think it's really important. Honestly, with his reach, I do think it's important to point out just how very, very broken and how very misinformed he is.
Is how much this is where I get mad at the media for presenting this like this is Hitler. We're having it notched up to 11 for the past 8 years. And now you've got this because he was put in. It's almost like that energy has been transferred to Elon now, because now, did you see the Elon protests? They're protesting Elon. They're literally.
Yeah, we are. And yeah, we are. He did a Nazi salute on a stage. Okay. He promotes Nazis. He promotes Nazis all the time. I can't believe you guys are calling these guys Nazis. Oh, really? Grandpa was a Nazi. On both sides, Nazis on both sides of his family. Named after a Nazi propaganda movie. Shares all the beliefs with the Nazis. I can't believe they're calling him a Nazi. It's fucking crazy. I can't believe they're calling him a Nazi, even though he's a Nazi. Okay. He literally just spoke at a Nazi rally just recently.
Standing out there with signs that say arrest Elon Musk.
Listen, yeah. I guarantee it's organized. I guarantee it's organized by the same people that are going to lose a shitload of money based on all these discoveries at Doge. There's no way they're not.
Who's losing money? This is why Joe Rogan is fucking broken. One, I guarantee it's organized. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, any protest is organized. I guarantee it's organized by the people who are going to lose money. That's as far as his brain goes. That's it. That's the amount of thought that he's giving to this. Why are they protesting Elon? Could it be something legitimate? No, it must be for nefarious reasons. It must be nefarious. Joe Rogan has just stopped thinking. Did you notice he didn't say, wait, what are they saying about Elon? Why are they saying he should be arrested? Nope, just immediately, yeah, it's organized by the people who are going to lose millions. Okay, first of all, let's pretend Joe Rogan's right, that it's the people who are going to lose millions. Who's going to lose millions? Farmers? This idea, they keep saying this thing like there's these people in Congress, this is just a way to get themselves paid. Who got paid from this? We have zero examples of any of this money tying back to a single person in Congress getting paid. None of it. Who's he talking about here? Now, there is one person who's getting paid, and again, this is a $40 billion budget. There is one person making $7 million a week. There's one person getting paid. That's Elon.
You look at what Doge is uncovering, what they're uncovering with this USAID stuff, a lot of that stuff was organizing through NGOs protests. They organized the attempt at getting Trump impeached.
I thought you were going to say killed.
He got impeached twice. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but is he saying NGOs got Donald Trump on the phone with Ukraine and said, if you don't give me dirt on Joe Biden, that I'm not going to send you funding? And then these NGOs organized all the people in Congress who then held hearings week after week after week with evidence that this is exactly what happened. Doesn't even make any sense. Who are they organizing? You organize people. We didn't impeach Trump. He was impeached by Congress. You saying these NGOs run Congress over $40 billion? The fucking defense budget is a third of our budget. This is 0.7% of our budget. And the irony here of them looking at a guy who's auditing that is that is going to benefit handsomely from our defense budget, which is a third of our fucking budget. And they're like, oh, it must be these other people. They're organizing about this 0.7%, but we should ignore the 33%.
They organized the
That's
impeachment.
come out.
They also USAID spent $50 million on the lab that invented coronavirus.
All right, so that's not true. No evidence at all that the United States spent $50 million on the Wuhan Institute of Virology, who, again, there isn't evidence, or there's no definitive evidence, I should say, that they created the COVID-19 lab. We will never know. We will never know. But this is the problem I have with Joe Rogan. I can say we'll never know. I can say it could be lab created. It could be. It could have occurred naturally. Rogan can't, because when you're in a cult, you believe shit. Okay, I used to say I know Joseph Smith is a prophet of God. No, I didn't know. I thought, but I said I know so that people couldn't really argue with me anymore. Okay? Rogan is saying, I know. We know. No, you don't. You don't know. Literally nobody knows. Outside of maybe a handful of people in Wuhan, if they created that and they've kept it a secret, that's who knows. He doesn't know. Why doesn't anybody ever say, hey, why don't you be a little more honest with the way that you speak? Because it's a cult. It's about belief. And again, like, just for those that are on the fence, if there's anybody here that's on the fence with these people, just ask yourself, why don't they just say honestly what they believe? Or honestly what the facts are? Why don't they just be honest? Why can't Joe Rogan be honest?
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of money involved in this not working. And when you have a lot of money...
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, Wuhan lab. Let me keep going there. Okay. No evidence that went to Wuhan lab. Here's where the evidence that here's what the evidence does say. USAID funded Predict. It's called the Predict program with $210 million from 2009 to 2013. This program, all they did is they collected virus samples from various countries and sent them to multiple laboratories all over the world, including the Wuhan lab. So everybody who was studying these viruses, they sent samples to all these labs. That was $210 million, again, but wasn't specifically to fund a COVID virus. The Wuhan lab stored over 11,000 virus samples collected through the Predict program as of 2019. USAID provided funding to EcoHealth Alliance, which collaborated with the Wuhan lab on bat corona research into how corona evolves in bats. The NIH provided $200,000 in grant funding to Wuhan University, but that's separate from the lab, a mistake that they consistently make. Wuhan University and the Wuhan lab are not the same thing. It's important to note that while USAID did indirectly fund some research at the Wuhan lab, through Predict and EcoHealth Alliance, the specific amount of $50 million is not mentioned anywhere. Nobody can find any evidence of $50 million. This funding was part of broader efforts to study and prevent potential pandemics. So, not true.
Involved, you're going to have organized protest. When you see protests, we all want to think protests like the 1960s. Yeah, fight the war, man. It's like organic, like peace, love, and hippie shit. But that's not what this is. What this is
we have multiple people in this audience that went to a protest last week. None of them are paid protesters. All of them went on a whim because that's what they wanted. And by the way, if we're saying all protests are manufactured since the 60s, who manufactured Jan 6th then? Joe Rogan. Who manufactured that? He's so far removed from reality that Joe Rogan, like, he literally lives in his own reality. He has no clue what it's like for the working class. He has no clue what it's like on the ground floor. He's so far removed from what society is that, like, he can't even fathom people protesting in the streets right now. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You can't figure out why some people are upset right now?
Organized, funded protests where someone is spending a lot of money and they're mobilizing other NGOs. They're using their access to these mailing lists and all these different things. They're putting these things together.
Yeah, but
Yeah! That's how a fucking protest works. That's how it works.
You're muted.
God damn it, muted for a rant. Oh. I don't get it. What the fuck is he talking about? Of course you email and text each other when you do a protest. What do you think, we're throwing up fucking smoke signals? Just telepathy? We all showed up at the same time? Well, how did that happen? How did we show up here at the same time today? That's how protests used to work. Nobody ever organized protests before now. Like we didn't have phones in the 60s. Like we didn't have mail in the 60s. Like we didn't have bulletins in the 60s. Like we didn't have radio in the 60s. Like we didn't have television in the 60s. His brain is so mush. Like, this is the most nonsense explanation of what just happened. Yeah, well, the people are protesting because NGOs, they use each other's mailing lists, and then all these people show up. Yeah, why did the people show up, though, Joe? Why did the organizers get people to show up, Joe? Because we're fucking pissed, dude. We're fucking pissed. You got the military knocking on doors, asking for people's papers right now. You got military going door to door saying, show me your paperwork. And you're like, I can't believe these guys are upset about that. Are you fucking kidding me? You can't understand how anybody would be upset. If somebody showed up at my door right now and asked for my paperwork, I'd be upset. The thing is you just live in a bubble where nothing in this world affects you because you have so much goddamn money that none of this affects you. And then these organizations, these NGOs, non-government organizations. Oh, so you mean people? Non-government organizations? People. Those are called people, Joe. You're siding with the government. We should just listen to big government. They know what's going on. And when non-government agencies protest, you know it's organized. You know it's up to they're up to some bullshit. Fucking stupid, man. He's stupid. And he's like stupid on purpose. He just said 3 years ago, he said, fuck it. I know I don't understand COVID. Fuck it. I believe everything that my overlords tell me from now on. I'm just a cuck to the billionaires because I got paid too.
do you think that the average liberal person, do you think that they're going to wake up and come around? Or do you think that they're going to be in like...
To what? To what? What do you want us to come around to? Well, yeah. You know what? On second thought, it is a very good idea to have somebody have no oversight and go in and give them access to our government. And nobody should ever question their motives or what they're doing. You want us to come around to that?
Agony for 4 years and be...
What if it works? Like, what if the world gets safer, the country gets safer?
Okay, let's talk about it. What if the world gets safer? What if the world gets safer? Does it sound like it's getting safer to you, Joe?
The White House press secretary told us last week that you're committed to rebuilding Gaza. Steve Witkoff said that process would take 10 to 15 years. Does your commitment to rebuilding Gaza extend beyond your time in office?
10 to 15 years. That's how long it's going to take.
I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza.
Okay, so he's going to own Gaza. That's making things safer, isn't it? That's good. What about this? Does this make the world safer here, Joe?
This, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision. But as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out.
Oh, let hell break out. Yeah, fuck them. We'll just blow them up. If they don't do what we say, we'll just blow them up. Is that a safer world there, Joe? How about this one, Joe? Is this a safer world?
I want to have our money secured because we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars. And, you know, they may make a deal. They may not make a deal. They may be Russian someday, or they may not.
Oh, the Ukrainians might become Russians one day. They'll just get taken over by Russia. Is that making the world safer there, Joe? How about this? What's happening in North Korea there, Joe? In this nice, safe... What if it works? What's North Korea doing right now? What is this? This is North Korea showing off their secret uranium enrichment facility. Oh, that's pretty fucking safe, Joe. Feeling real goddamn safe right now. Oh, what's Iran doing? Remember we pulled out of the Iranian nuclear agreement? What are they doing right now? Oh, they're testing missiles? They're secretly building nuclear missiles that can hit Europe? Oh, does that feel safe, Joe? You won't know if it's safe, Joe. Joe's never going to figure out if it's fucking safe because Joe has already decided that Joe is just believing everything Elon says. Fuck, I lost the Joe video. Let me go back. God damn it. Sorry, Joe Rogan drives me nuts. I get a little too excited about Joe Rogan.
Lose a shitload of money based on all these discoveries at Doge. There's no way they're not. If you look at what Doge is uncovering, they also spent USA in this not working. And when you have a lot of money involved, you're going to have funded protests.
Liberal
Gets safer. The country gets safer. The economy.
Okay, the country gets safer. The world gets safer. There's no evidence of that. How about this? The economy
Improves.
Okay, the economy improves. What are they doing about the economy, Joe? What are they doing to fix our economy right now? Just out of curiosity. I haven't seen anything. How's the economy going to improve right now? How's that going to happen? By killing off farmers? By killing off their livelihood? All right.
And they don't attack civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, all these things that everybody's worried.
Yeah, except for they did attack civil rights. They did attack women's rights, and they are attacking gay rights. They're doing all of this, but Joe doesn't know because Joe lives in a bubble. They don't know that currently this administration has sought to limit the enforcement of the Voting Rights Act. And they want to shield Republican-led states from federal oversight regarding voting laws, voter suppression laws. He doesn't seem to know that the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division is being restructured to investigate claims of anti-white discrimination rather than focusing on traditional anti-discrimination cases. How about Trump revoking executive orders aimed at advancing racial equity, diversity, and inclusion initiatives across the federal agencies? Just undid those. How about in Project 2025 that the agenda is to roll back civil rights protections and get rid of the Civil Rights Act of 1960 motherfucking 4, Joe? They're coming out. Sounds like they're coming after civil rights a little bit, Joe. How about mass deportations? Bringing in people who are legally in this country, arresting people, putting them in jail without even knowing if they are legal to be here or not, going door to door demanding that we see people's papers. How about federal resources addressing systemic discrimination being completely reduced or completely eliminated from our federal websites, handbooks, our policies? Seems an awful lot like they're going after civil rights, Joe. But Joe doesn't seem to know that. And Joe says, well, what if they don't go after women's rights? Well, they did, because Trump just reinstated and expanded the global gag rule, which blocks U.S. funding to foreign organizations that provide information so that they can discuss abortion care. He withdrew from the World Health Organization, removed the reproductivehealth.gov website, which all that does is gives people information on contraception and abortion access. That's gone now. Seems like he's going after women. How about when he directed the Justice Department to limit enforcement of the FACE Act, which protects access to abortion clinics, who provide reproductive care, who provide cancer screening, who provide education, who provide contraceptives. Yeah, sure feels like an attack on women to me, Joe, but you don't fucking know that because you live in a goddamn bubble. And you talk to millions of people a day, and there's people who are influenced by your dumb ass every single day. They're attacking all these people, Joe. You're talking about LGBTQ rights? Are they not attacking LGBTQ rights? How about signing an executive order recognizing only two genders and banning gender-affirming care for people under the age of 19. By the way, gender-affirming care is simply just saying, like, yeah, you can be who you want to be. That doesn't feel like an attack to you, Joe? How about forcing the State Department to not process passport applications with a gender-neutral marker? So if you just hit X on the gender-neutral. Why? How does that help anybody? Limited the White House Gender Policy Council. Remove LGBTQ-related content from government websites, whitehouse.gov, and federal agencies. And DEI, that's an attack on everybody who isn't a white man. It's absolutely fucking insane. 78 executive orders signed by Biden that promoted LGBTQ equality and non-discrimination, overturned. DEI programs, gone. Mandated gender binary recognition, sure, approved. Transgender military service, banned. He's lost it. He's absolutely fucking lost reality. He's not there anymore. And what sucks is that people listen to this guy and they're repeating it. They're saying the same things. They think that Elon is out there doing good things, and none of them can explain what he did that was good. Not one of them. All they can say is NGOs and this is bad. It's fraud. What was fraud? Show me the fraud, please. I'd like to hear the fraud, please, because every bit of fraud so far that's been mentioned didn't happen.
Worried about. And then at the end of it, you realize, like, hey, maybe I was wrong.
I mean, that's my question, though. Are they capable of that kind of self-reflection?
Are you capable? Because you were wrong about fucking COVID, and you're here 4 years later like, oh, dude, I can't believe people don't believe us still. Yeah, because you were fucking wrong. How many times did Joe Rogan lie about like trans stuff? Well, I have a friend. His wife works at an elementary school, and they are putting cat litter in the bathrooms so people can identify as cats. 2 days later, well, actually, my friend's wife left that school, and she's not sure if they're doing that or not. Oh, 2 days. She left in those 2 days? Joe Rogan? I can show you clip after clip after clip of Joe Rogan being corrected by his producer, like, and him going, why do they lie about that? And never just stops to be like, how come I believe so many lies immediately? It's so crazy to see the dumbest among us go, are these libs ever going to wake up and stop using facts and data and just be consumed by their feelings and make all their decisions based on feelings? When are they going to stop?
If you
debate, Joe, you think Joe Rogan doesn't bring on anybody who disagrees with him anymore? Joe Rogan used to bring on Kyle Kulinski, David Pakman, Bernie Sanders. He's attacking Bernie Sanders now. Joe Rogan's a pussy. That's why Joe Rogan is doing this. That's why Joe Rogan doesn't bring on anybody. Joe Rogan never once brought on a single virologist. Joe Rogan is propaganda now. Joe Rogan's not having interesting discussions with varying ideas when it comes to politics. He brings on right-wingers only. That's it. Or people that claim they're left-wing but agree with Joe on his conspiracy theories. Joe's not bringing on anybody that's going to challenge him because Joe can't back any of this shit up. And his friends are all telling him, don't bring him on, dude. They just tricked you with their liberal facts.
Well, we're saying they as if it's like one different, like one kind of person.
No, I mean,
there's so many different people in they.
Agreed. I mean, when I say they, I mean people who have bought into the idea that this person is going to make everything worse and we're going to slip into a fascist technocracy.
Some of.
Yeah. Yeah. And how would we know? How would we know if we were slipping into a fascist technocracy? I think some early warning signs might be, I don't know, saying that judges don't fucking matter anymore, and putting out executive orders that just say, hey, I'm not really going to vet people anymore. I can just give clearance whenever I want. We don't need to vet people. I can just give them clearance. And that clearance lasts for, what was it, 6 months? 6 months. I can give people access to classified documents for 6 months before Congress or the courts can step in and do anything. If we were looking at a fascist technocracy, you might see, I don't know, the richest fucking person in the world going through all of our data despite not being elected and making unilateral cuts that the president just goes along with. You wouldn't know a fascist technocracy if it was written on your dick and slapping you in the face. You have no clue what you're looking at. That's what's crazy. Like, these people are like, oh, when are they going to realize we're not? It's happening, dumbass. It's happening right now. This is, if you're writing a book, you're like, how are we going to make this look like a fascist technocracy? Well, you would take the richest man in the world and he would fund a campaign and he would fund it full of lies and he would convince all these people that they were victims. And then once his puppet government was in place, they would hand the controls over to him and he would do whatever he wanted. That's how you would write the story if you wanted to explain to somebody what it is. And it's happening right in front of our faces. And these two dumb dicks are like, oh, they'll never learn.
Of them. Some of them are going to slip right into it. Some of them are going to wake up and come around. You know, it's a test. It's a test of character. It's a test of objectivity. It's a test of introspection. There's a lot of things that are going to happen where people are going to have to wonder, like, what was I rooting for? When I was rooting for this progressive liberal government, what was I actually?
What are you rooting for as a conservative right now? I know what I was rooting for. Kamala told us all the time. So make a more equitable system. Make education affordable. Make healthcare affordable. Give everybody access to healthcare so they don't fucking die. How about that? How about give people the right to goddamn live, and at the expense of like a little bit of the money from these billionaires, just a small percentage. Hey, I'd like it if our world didn't catch on fire once a year. I'd like it if hurricanes didn't wipe out the whole fucking East Coast because we don't do anything about climate change. That's what we voted for. What'd you vote for? Tax cuts for billionaires? What are you guys getting? You got those 12 those 12 people banned from high school sports? Oh, goddamn! You got the Gulf of America now. What are you guys supporting? What do you vote for? We can tell you what we voted for. The stuff you guys said you voted for, you're all full of shit. We want lower prices and we want no more wars. Well, we're going to war and the prices are going up. And now you're like, nah, we were just kidding. Some of you, like Tex, are honest about it. No, we didn't really give a shit about that. We just want to be racist, and we wanted our government to be racist. We want ethno-states. Some of you were honest. So I don't think that's what Joe wants, for the record. I don't think Joe thinks about that. I just think Joe's just kind of a dumb guy. And he's at this. Joe's intelligent. I want to take that back. He's not a dumb guy. He's at a place in his life where he is so confident in where he got that he thinks that his gut and his instincts are just always right. And they were right about a lot of things. Joe Rogan was right when he was like, you know what? I'm going to stick with this UFC thing. This might work for me. Joe Rogan was right when they came to him and said, hey, you want to do this Fear Factor thing? Joe Rogan was right and early when he's like, podcasting is the future. He's been right about a lot of stuff. He's right. You know what he's consistently wrong about, though? Politics. And Joe Rogan was right on those things, not because of data, but because of experience. And the way that he experiences things inform his decisions. Well, he's insulated himself now. He doesn't experience anything outside of the right-wing bubble. He doesn't drift into the left. He doesn't bring on guests who challenge him anymore. That's how he got here.
Actually rooting for? Was I rooting for warmongers who were making insane amounts of profit by funding overseas wars?
Yeah.
Elon. Joe. Elon. Defense contractors.
What was I rooting for? Was I rooting for a basic theft of our tax dollars that's gone to all these like completely useless endeavors?
Like Solar City? How about like Solar City, Joe? How about like we can catch a rocket now? How about the rockets that blew up? How about the billions of dollars that flowed into Tesla in subsidies? How about the billions of dollars that billionaires have hijacked from our economy? How about that?
That were only set up as ways to pilfer money?
Or the fall of America?
Yeah.
You know, this is a weird thing to like hate your own country so much that you want it to.
We don't hate our country. We hate that you guys are fucking it up. It's another lie that they're told. Like, you guys are the only ones that really, you can only love your country if you vote for Donald Trump. Fuck you. First of all, I don't love our country. I don't love any country. I could give a fuck about countries. I care about the laws that govern me. And the laws that govern me happen to be the laws of the United States. And if I moved to a different country, I would be governed by those laws. And I would do the same thing. I would look at them and I would say good laws or bad laws. But I would want order. I would want people to all have to follow the same laws. That's this idea. If you love your country, you love Donald Trump. Yeah, that's how you wind up in a cult. That's how you wind up supporting dumb shit that you can't explain and thinking because I don't fly a 40-foot flag in front of my house and wear a MAGA hat that I don't love my country. Why do you love your country? Who the fuck cares, first of all? I don't care. I don't care about any of that. I just want laws to make sense. I just want children not to starve. I just want people to be able to go to a hospital. And they're like, I can't believe it. They don't even love our country. We don't like you. We don't like you guys because you can't critically think.
To fall or the dismantling of the kind of West as we know it.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. Every single person they've put in office, from Russ Vought to Elon Musk to Peter Thiel, like all the people surrounding Donald Trump, they all want democracy gone. Every one of them is on record saying no more democracy. Every fucking one of them. All of them, including Donald Trump, they all want to end American democracy. They all want to fundamentally undo our Constitution. And I'm not making this shit up. They all said it on the record. And if they can say it on the record and have these morons go, oh, well, they don't really mean it. It's really the left that wants that. Well, then we're fucked. We're just fucked. If they'll tell it to your face, if they say it to your face and you don't believe it, well, I don't know what to do. Stop blaming us, though. God damn.
You know, I think there is a feeling that Elon might have saved the West.
Yeah.
I feel like at least he's trying to.
I think he did, but just by buying X.
But isn't it funny that he got forced into it? I think there's like something kind of ironic.
Funny because he was trying to get it at a lower price. Because
no, he wasn't. He overbid. And then he was like, fuck, I didn't think they were going to accept my offer. So he put out this offer as a way to troll. And he was like, hey, I'm going to put out this crazy offer, which, they're not going to sell it to me because they don't want to sell it. So I'm going to throw out this crazy offer. And then they're like, hey, fine, it's yours. And he's like, uh-oh. Oh, no. And he's like, I don't want to buy it anymore. They're like, sorry. That was the terms of your offer. We accept. You're buying it now. Now you have to buy it. That's what actually happened.
Because he knew that they were bullshitting about the amount of bots.
Well, and then they came out yesterday, and now it's profitable.
Yeah.
There was like a whole article about how he turned it around.
Of course it's going to be profitable.
It was profitable when he took it over. Let me hear Joe. Joe's doing my whisper, but here's what Joe says. Listen to this. This is fucking idolatry, but
yesterday, and now it's profitable.
Yeah.
There was like a whole article about how he turned it around.
Of course it's going to be profitable. He's smarter than you.
He is smarter. He also knows that we are all
tapped in.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't stop.
He's smarter than us, and he has us addicted. Listen, he is smarter than you. He is smarter than you. He's convinced you. He is smarter. Now we're addicted. Why are you addicted? Why not ask that question? You're addicted to rage. That's how this works. It's how cults work. They just keep you in this perpetual state of fear and rage where you're confused. And you're so confused that you can't even identify reality anymore. And we're seeing that in this interview. They can't identify reality. This isn't like, it's not a thing where whoever she is, I forgot her name already, and Joe Rogan, I honestly don't think this is a thing where like they're evil and they want to go along with this and they want to undo democracy. It's legitimately exactly what she just said. They entered into a space where they are just being hit with crazy shit one after another, and they don't even have time to fact check it, but every time they see something, it makes them mad. And that feeling, that rage that builds inside of you, even if you find out that's not true, it stays with you. You guys know this. Those who have been here with me for a long time, like when people first started sending me messages to make my face red, then versus now, it's because like that the guilt from like saying things that are sexual or even talking about sexual things, the shame and the guilt of that from the cult that I grew up with in is still with me. I left the cult 9 years ago now. It stays with you forever. So even when you are fact checked out of that fear stays with you, and that creates confirmation bias. That's why Steve Bannon was so brilliant when he said flood the zone with shit, because none of them are going and checking things one by one. It's amazing. This video is 4 minutes and 39 seconds. I'm imagining this segment has already gone 30 plus minutes. That's how much disinformation they've been fed. We have to stop it every 12 seconds because they get something not wrong, in my opinion, factually wrong. Like every 12 seconds. That's how we got here. And they recognize it on some level, like, oh, we're hooked. We're junkies now. What's the difference between this and a junkie? What's the difference between this and any addiction that anybody has? There's no difference. This is an addiction here. And while we're at it, like if I get a pool noodle and go to the park and LARP with my friends and dress up in costumes, how's that any different than being a Republican? It's just not. It's just not.
Stop it. I've always had a Twitter addiction. It's the thing that replaced my drinking and smoking weed. When I quit that, I went
Go back to the weed. Go back to weed. Go back to weed. Get off Twitter. Go back to the weed, please.
right to Twitter. I was like, Elon knows none of these motherfuckers, even when they go to Blue Sky, they've all got secret accounts and they're lurking on Twitter still, or X still, or whatever.
You can't live in that echo chamber, that Blue Sky echo chamber. You can't even go on there and say there's only two genders. If
you literally can
go on there and say there's two genders, they ban you immediately.
They really
It's not true.
eating themselves within 2 days over there, though.
But that's what always happens.
The irony of Joe Rogan calling anything an echo chamber, like I've showed you my feed before, but if I go to like my following feed and my For You feed, it's night and day difference.
Thanks for the sub.
The For You feed is just nonstop Republican lies, like straight up lies. And the following feed, and I do follow a lot of Republicans, the following feed is just like people I know that are going to have like some sort of nuance. Even if I disagree with them, they provide nuance to their discussions, because that's really what I ultimately want to see. Like, I already know why dumb people do dumb things. I want to know why smart people follow Republican policies. I want to know why smart people are on board with these things. And there's a handful of those people, and I disagree with them strongly, but at least they're trying. Like, they're trying to make sense of it.